Hey, Lowco Hoops fans, welcome to the 1L Hoops Happy Hour. And Hoops fans around the world. I mean, who's to say where they may be watching from tonight? We may have bots worldwide scouring the internet and watching our content. But Coach Fish, Rob Benson, Justin Jarrett with you for the 1L Hoops Happy Hour tonight. And we got another special guest in our parade of area coaches who have been coming through. Bradley Gabriel from Bluffton High School boys going to join us tonight and talk a little bit about his journey through the sport, his philosophy on coaching the game, the state of the area, all the things that we've covered with our esteemed guests up to this point. But first and foremost, how are you boys doing on this lovely Sunday? It's a beautiful day. We got a lot of NFL games on TV, but how y'all doing?
Doing great, man. Solid weekend. NFL's going solid. Vandy boys won. Vandy girls won today. 2 top 10 teams. So everything's good, man.
Bobby?
All Vandy does is win right now, Fish. That's all they do. Seemingly. Yeah, and the NFL's been great, man. I mean, what a great playoffs so far. You know, the games all been close. I mean, we're in the fourth quarter here with the Niners and Eagles, 1-point game, right? Game earlier was solid.
Really good.
Yeah, shout out to
Bears last night were amazing.
Oh
yeah. Absolutely. And then even before that, the game before that was, I can't even remember what it was now, but
Panthers, almost got it done.
Panthers,
yeah. That was like four scores in the last 8 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But good stuff. Good stuff. We got the U in the national championship game, right?
Indiana just belting everybody.
Like that's a whole
strange
thing.
times.
Not even sure where that came from. I think it's from
Indiana's a basketball school, yeah. So maybe that's how we get back to basketball here. But no, you guys been out in the gyms this week? I mean, we had some big games. You had Battery Creek knocking off Oceanside Collegiate in 3 or 4 overtimes, but then won by 13, which is always odd. Can't ignore that. Bluffton held off Hilton Head in a good one. May River still undefeated. So, or wait, did they lose to Bishop England the other night?
Nah, I think they won.
Oh, okay.
They won by like 12 or something like that.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been in a wrestling haze this week.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, Bishop England, though, beating Hilton Head early in the week, too. So we had talked Hilton Head up pretty good.
Oh, yeah, they beat Bishop England 51-38. So they're cooking.
Yeah, so now I think we got Hilton Head, 0-2 in region already?
Yeah. Just like
that. And May River, still holding on strong. I mean, we had our esteemed guest last week on, who then asked me for the scout, who then proceeded not to listen and get blitzed. So that was a shocker of the week for me. And then and then there was I'm not trying to think. Oh yeah, and Buford girls just keep trucking. So it sort of is what it is right now.
Yeah, they've kind of settled that result you alluded to there. Kind of settled that debate. Buford girls will be number 1 in the power poll going forward, I think.
For sure.
So, because I mean, they had done enough on their own merit, I think, but it was just JP2 was rolling, so you had to give them a little benefit of doubt. But I think they've that.
You go for style of play,
They can re-earn it.
Yeah, they earned it. Yeah, they can re-earn it. I mean, you went for style of play for the JP2 thing, but then the wheels came off of that, and then meanwhile, Buford's always had the far better athletes, and they also played probably the 3 or 4 best games or teams that this area will play this year, right? Which is also why the Battery Creek boys win so impressive, because I mean that's a heck of a region, and Oceanside is nothing to sneeze at. So anyway, let's move it, kick it on down the road.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, let's get our guest in here so we can let him get on with his Sunday evening. I'm sure he wants to watch some football too. Joining us now, Bradley Gabriel, the head coach of the Bluffton High School boys. What's going on, Coach?
Nothing much. I appreciate you having me on, and I've been following the football, so I'm eager to get back at it. So, we need to hurry up. And I'm joking. I haven't watched any football, but I do know my Panthers about pulled it off yesterday, and like always, they let me down. So,
Yeah, it was kind of customary the way it ended, but man, they really I think you got to be excited about the future over there.
Yeah, I thought they had it. A lot of people are down on Bryce, but I think he showed a lot in the playoffs and in the last few weeks of football. So I think the quarterback position's good. I think they just need to solidify a couple of things and on defense, especially in the secondary, and I think they'll be all right.
Yes, sir. Well, let's talk some hoops, because that's you eat, sleep, and breathe it like all the rest of the coaches we talked to. You came down here a couple of years ago from North Carolina and kind of implemented your program that you've taken with you over the years, and have had a good bit of success. You've had some great athletes and you've had some success, and now you're kind of looking at kind of turning the page into the next kind of era, I guess, as some of those guys have already graduated or gone on to college, and now it's kind of Harry and the younger guys hanging around. So tell us a little bit about just the transition and the early program building in Bluffton.
Yeah, I kind of got spoiled, being in North Carolina around the Charlotte area and just having those type of athletes, those type of basketball players that just concentrated primarily on basketball. And I kind of got spoiled and up there. And, when we came down here, we had some, tragedy in our house that is one of the reasons why we came down here. And I thought I was really done with basketball in general, but, my wife wanted to move to Hilton Head, kind of get away from things after, our oldest son passed away in a motorcycle accident. And so we've been down here and I got back into coaching, and, it's a different area. But my philosophy is always going to be the same. I'm a coach hard. I'm going to hold the kids accountable, hold myself accountable, our coaches, staff, really our community and everybody accountable for everything that we do. And, the kids, this is my third year, and, it's a work in progress because the kids down in this area are a little different. And that's not good or bad. I'm just saying they're just different. Basketball might not be as important as it is in Charlotte. So it's been a transition for me. But, this year's team with Harry, Harry's kind of embraced, almost like myself, kind of embraced this team, this young, like you said, we do have a young team. Initially, when we started this year, I thought on paper we had a very deep team, maybe a team that could, make a run like last year, probably a little bit further than last year. But then we were throwing some curveballs with, Aiden stepping out, and we kind of knew that Carnell was not going to be with us, but Aiden told us that he was with us all along, and then kind of threw me a curveball at the very end. But that's just part of it, I guess, the culture we live in, the world we live in today. But Harry's embraced this year and kind of made my job a little bit easier. And I think right now, actually the May River game was the first game that we had the starting lineup, that we have right now. So you're kind of starting to see, kids, the chemistry being built, some of the kids with more confidence, and Harry's just kind of embraced this team and kind of been a great leader. So kind of made my job a little bit easier. But, we feel like we have the program kind of going in the right direction as best as we can for what we have in this area. But we're just excited about this year, and kind of, the kids are excited, and kind of see where this year goes for us.
Yeah, with some of that, I'm in Charlotte. I'm from Charlotte. Grew up playing in Charlotte. So I'm naturally drawn to the way that you play. You kind of remind me of old coaches that I've had. Yeah. And to that, like now with the transfer portal, obviously Ethan Foster came over. Obviously, to me, you don't do any recruiting, but to me, your style of play is what recruits kids over there. So can you just talk about how the portal has helped you guys?
Yeah. That's Fish. You got to surround yourself with good people too. That always helps. But I've always been what they called a player's coach. Where I was at my last school, we had the same problem as kids wanted to be a part of us because A, we were successful, and B, as a coach, I've just always I believed in my players. I let them play. I try not to handcuff them too much. I'll try to put them in a couple things where, they can read off of it. But I think the same thing holds true down here. Even with Harry, people see, I let Harry not have a green light, but kind of have a green light a little bit. And I've always been that guy. If a kid can shoot it from half court, shoot it. Do what you do best, and let me worry about what's best suited for you. But yeah, picking up Ethan, picking up Harry. I don't talk to parents. I don't talk to kids. I just coach who's in front of me. But we're excited to have Ethan, a kid like Ethan that works his tail off, that really hasn't even hit. I think he could be so much better than what he is right now. He's just a little behind. He knows it, and we know it. But putting himself, around a coach like me that believes in him, people like you, Fish, that work him out, and putting him around people like that is just only going to help him out. And I think his upside is way higher than where he is right now. But I hope my style of play. I'm not for everyone because I don't control the game. I try not to control the game. I'm not going to run a flex offense. I'm not going to run a circle offense. I'm not going to run an offense that's just moving all the time and whatnot. I try to get it in my best players' hands and let them make plays and put them in a situation and be successful. That's not for everyone because it's tough. Harry even told me, your style is easy, but it's tough because you got to make plays. You got to score the ball. You got to hit shots. You got to play defense. You got to do things, and you got to think the game through. And for him to say that, again, I'm not for everyone, but I do have a belief in my kids to shoot it, and I give them that free range as long as they play defense a little bit and try to distribute and share the ball. I do that, and we're blessed to have someone like Ethan to come over this year, and we were really excited to have him. I'm really excited to see his growth as well. So
with that too, because I tell parents all the time, I think that the way that you play, like you said, getting the ball in your best player's hands, I see the game from a best player's perspective because that's what the majority of my life was. So I think that's the best way to get recruited. So how much of your time or how much of your mindset is involved with recruiting guys? Because I saw the other day you got the twins coming too.
Yeah.
I think they're college prospects. I think Ethan's one. I think Harry's one. So how much are you invested in that as well?
Oh yeah, I'm. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Who are the twins?
Max and Moss LaRoe from.
Gotcha.
We saw somebody came to me the other day and I think it was one of my sisters, and it's like, we have two kids. I kind of already knew a little bit that they were coming, but I didn't know they were coming that day. But yeah, we have them, and they're actually appealing. They might be able to play this year. They're going to appeal. Their dad's going to appeal it. So, but yeah, the landscape of recruiting has changed just from 5 years ago. I used to could tell kids, hey, we have 15, and this is true. We had 15, 20 Division II, Division I coaches that came to our practices all the time. I was in constant contact with them all the time because they wanted our kids. That's not the landscape in today's world. So I always tell kids to get your name out there today. You got to put up numbers. You got to prove your value. And so that's kind of why I push Harry and them to have the ball in their hands, to kind of, market their style. At 5'10", I told Harry, you got to put up numbers. You got to be different. You got to be a great leader. You got to play defense. You got to do something that nobody's willing to do to get looked at. So it's definitely a style, and kids have always – hold on a second. My dog's bothering me right now. Sorry, but it's definitely my style.
I have a cat under my desk.
Yeah, my style definitely is for high level kids that want to play at the next level because we showcase their talent, and I hold those kids accountable. To get in the weight room, to get up shots every day, to understand how to read. I always tell kids, if you're not playing chess and you're playing checkers, you're behind. And that's the way you got to think of basketball is you got to play chess, especially if you got the ball in your hands. You want to be a college player and whatnot. But yeah, my style is different than everybody else's because, I'm going to highlight my best players and I'm going to try to get them in college. And that's my job. That's why I coach. I don't coach for myself. I don't coach for anything else. I coach to get kids that say, I want to play college ball to get them to the next level. Surround them with people that I know it has their best interests at heart, because I know I do, and kind of go from there and grow them. And, my job's not always to tell them how great they are either. My job's to tell them what they need to improve on. And I think that's what my kids like about me is I'm real. And I don't always, I'm not always nice to them. I don't always tell them how great they are and how wonderful they are. I mean, the other night, Harry had 32 points, and in a huddle one time, he turned the ball over and missed a pass up the court. And I'm sitting there telling him, you can't do that. You can't miss that stuff. So, I'm always going to hold my kids accountable just like a college coach would. And that's my goal, is to get all these kids to the next level and experience what I experienced and finish what you experienced at the highest level. And because, you work your butt off to get there, and that's the ultimate goal, and then when you play college ball, your next step, if you want to do it, is professional. And there's different stages to all that. But my kids like what I do. And so it's always been, where I was at, we probably put close to about 35 kids in college at my last school. So that's my goal. And that's why I coach. It's not for me. It's to get these kids to the next level. But the landscape has changed so much that, now it's more of, instead of begging for your kids, now we're begging for coaches now to look at our kids. So.
Yeah. No doubt, 100%.
Well, Coach,
well, I was going to say, speaking to kind of the alpha nature of the conversation, riding your best player, that sort of thing. Now that we're however many games into the season, 14 or 15, and a game or two into region play, give us a quick survey of what you've seen out there. Who are some of the better kids you've seen, better teams maybe, and what to look forward to. Obviously, we've talked a bunch in the first several weeks of this little happy hour about the region, right? And how Hilton Head, May River, and Bluffton are kind of neck and neck. And so far, it's proving to sort of be that way with the games being pretty tight and pretty close. But what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I mean, just speaking of our region right now, I really like what Bennett does. He's different than I am. We're both old school. We talk quite a bit. We share information back and forth. Matter of fact, before I got on here, we were talking about Hilton Head Prep. And so we share, I like what he does. I like what their kids do. I think he has, 8, 9, maybe even 10 guys that play pretty similar to one another, which, the offense that he runs, the program that he runs fits what he likes to do. Play team, share the basketball, everybody be a part of it and whatnot. So, obviously, 17-0, people say about, people always talk about, well, they haven't played anybody and this and that. That's overrated. You're still 17-0, 17-0. I don't care who you play.
Yeah.
Your record speaks.
A lot to be said for consistency.
Right. I mean, you still have to show up and play the games. You still have to motivate your kids to come out and play the same way every day, every night, go to practice and prepare and whatnot. And maybe even not to even overlook, you still have your kids to prepare to not overlook a team. So, obviously, I like what he does over there. Hilton Head, to me, since I've been here, honestly, Hilton Head has always had the better athletes of anybody in the region. I still feel that way. I think they're missing a couple pieces to the puzzle, but they still go deep. Tajay is such a good player. I love. I don't like coaching against him, but I love watching the kid play. He's such a tough guard because he does. His shot's a little awkward, but it works, and he gets it high, and he shoots it at any point from any moment, and he can go right, he can go left, and he's such a smart player. So he's tough, and I like Ketis. I like the Ketis kid. He's a sophomore. He's going to get better. I love his upside. So he's a tough player and whatnot. But I've seen Bishop on film. They're very deep. They play tough basketball, and that's what they coach and teach. And but yeah, those are the top, in my opinion, top teams. I'll be honest with you. I love some of the kids at Hilton Head Christian. I like the Wood kid at Hilton Head. He's one of the tougher guards we played all year. He can shoot the basketball, and if you give him an inch, it's going in. I've never. Yeah. I was giving Harry a hard time. I said, Harry, he's probably a little bit better than you right now.
When he first came in at HHCA and he started lighting it up from three, I started calling him Dark Harry because he had replaced Harry, and he's darker than Harry. Harry's fair.
He's a solid basketball player, but the region is a little down this year from what it was last year, obviously. But I don't contribute that anything other than high school basketball comes and goes. It's ebbs and flows. 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down. It's hard in this area. It's hard in high school basketball to sustain. Sustainability is very difficult, and if you can do that, you can have a successful run. But and that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. But it's very difficult because of if to build a program, in my opinion, you got to have middle school support. Yeah. And especially with Bluffton and May River, we don't have a feeder school, and it drives me crazy. And I don't understand how anybody in this county can really fathom the fact that Bluffton nor May River, probably two of your better schools in the county, have no feeder schools. And it's just difficult for me as a coach, because to build a program, you got to have a middle school program. You got to be 100% with your kids that you got to know is coming through, because if what I'm seeing is when you try to get kids as a freshman and a sophomore, and you're trying to win and teach, it's a headache. And so it's very difficult. But I like this region. I think this region can make some noise. I think May River can make a little bit of noise how they play. I think we're starting to come around. I think we're starting to fill ourselves out a little bit. I think we're going to be a tough out. And I told Tajay and the coach the other night, I'm like, look, y'all started out with Bishop England and us, and then they got to go to May River. That's a tough schedule, and so keep your heads up. I think there'll be a tough out, once they get things rolling around. So I know I got a little long-winded on that, but I like our region. I think it's a little down, but I don't think it's out. I think I think basketball in general is a little down from what I've been able to see on film in general. So I think it's up for grabs. I think I think we got two or three teams that can make a little bit of noise in the playoffs. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Very good.
Good deal.
Fellas?
It seems like y'all catching y'all stride right now, man. And to your point though, talking about basketball being down, right? So, and obviously you coach against a lot of these coaches. Take a team like Hilton Head the other night. Harry goes out the game, he gets injured, and all of a sudden they call probably their first time out of the night, which baffled me in a sense, right? So how much of it is on the kids versus how much of it is on the coaches? Now, obviously middle school coaches, I don't know what they're teaching. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, and I can't speak on that either. I don't know what other coaches are doing. I can tell you what we're doing and my lack of and what we try to overcome. A lot of it down in this area, and I can't speak for Hilton Head. I know they had a successful football season. But, for some reason, kids think that football is the only sport in this area. And it really it hurts us a little bit. I'm not sure it's on the coaching as much as it's on how much the kids are willing to put in the effort of doing both sports or three sports or whatever. I mean, that's just like last summer, we were excited because Harry was coming in and all the football players, Carnell, Aiden, Malcolm, they didn't miss a practice. And we went like 18-0 last year over the summer. This year, without Harry around, people thought we were going to be down. we only got eight games, and we played with basically all the guys that are like number 9 through 13 for us right now in the summer. That to me is very difficult. I mean, we didn't even have Malcolm. We didn't have Cordell. We didn't have Jack. Some of those guys. We were playing with JV kids over the summertime, and that's not anything that I did any different. That's on the kids. They just chose not to show up. None of the freshmen showed up because we don't know who we have.
Right.
So I think it's difficult. We live in a difficult world to get kids to want to, play basketball or 24/7. And
just to want to be as good as they can be at anything.
Right. Yeah.
They're pulled in a lot of different directions.
They are. And it's unfortunate, I was talking to someone yesterday about, kids, the NIL and all this stuff and how it's already trickling down to high school. And, it's unfortunate that Carnell and Aiden had to make a choice about their height at their age. They had to make a choice that they're going to miss out on a lot. Aiden did not want to do it. Carnell, I pretty much forced him to. Carnell wanted to come back, and he was actually calling his wide receiver coach and all this coaches going, can I play? Can I play? And I was like, Carnell, I'll let you play as much as they will allow you to play. And it was unfortunately only 3 games, but they're just they're being pulled in so many directions. And, rightfully so, because, Carnell, got a really good NIL deal. Yeah. And, how do you tell a kid, you better focus on multiple sports when, they're handing over the amount of money that they're handing over to kids. So, I don't know. I can only speak for myself that I'm basketball 24/7. I'll give you as much as you give me. I'm in the gym as much as you want to be in the gym. Our philosophy is simple. You're going to be held accountable. You're going to work hard, and we're going to create an atmosphere that people want to be a part of it. And our kids are a big part of that. I can only do so much. That's kind of, I don't ever talk about any other coaches because I'm not in their shoes and I don't know what they do and how they don't do it. I can only speak and the positives and negatives for me is the negatives are we have no feeder system. That's a big problem for me. And I think that poses a big problem for us. Especially when you're trying to build a program and you're trying to build things, and the feeder system to me is an issue. But the kids have so many things to do. How do you tell a Malcolm Gordon that sees Carnell and all these kids going D1 football that you got to play basketball next year too. So that's another hurdle that I'm already thinking about. And so I don't know. It's just difficult. But the kids that we do have in, I'm excited about the Max and the twins coming. I'm excited about Ethan. I'm excited about some of our young kids that's growing right now, and some of the other kids that that might be filtering in our system. I think we're doing things the right way. We're getting a lot of positive feedback from parents and people in the community that want to be a part of us. And if we have those kids and they'll get everything from me, they'll be able to they have every opportunity to improve themselves and put themselves in a situation to be successful about us. So I'm encouraged about it. And again, I can't talk about anyone else and how people coach against me or with me, because I'm sure people question me all the time about, some of the things that I do or don't do or whatever. But, as well as I do, Fish, that's in the moment. And we know our kids and a lot of it's determined on what our kids can do, what they can't do, what they want to do, and how they, so that's kind of how I would, that's about all I'll say about that. But I can only speak.
Very diplomatic answer, Coach. We appreciate that. No, it sounds like you do have a feeder system though, just up the road at Hilton Head Christian.
I I've actually reached out to Coach Hoff and I said, I have nothing to do with anything that's going on here. I really don't. I know people are saying I'm probably thinking I'm doing this. Or I don't even know these kids. I have no clue about any of these kids, but I think
you're safe. This is
real.
Yeah.
You're safe. This has been the
all
area
the time.
forever. I mean, like,
and
so
parents
the
are
kids
shopping these days. They are shopping.
I will say that, and that's a product of the environment we live in, and probably rightfully so. I had a son that played in 2017. Fortunately for him, he went and played at East Tennessee State and all that stuff. But we didn't have to shop. Coaches were shopping him. It's just a different world now. And I told Harry, I went out with his dad after the game the other night, and we were talking about, like, I'd hate to be a parent in today's world, especially if I wanted my son or daughter to play at the next level. I don't know what that looks like right now. And, I have a lot of contacts with coaches. And I just spoke to a coach, this summer, for example. I went to college or Charleston Southern, and was just talking to them about the recruiting. And they were like, and this is Charleston Southern. And they said, we don't recruit high school kids. And so, what do you tell parents? And that's Charleston Southern. So what do you tell parents? And, you just try to get them in the best place possible and surround them with people like Fish and people out there that's going to work hard for them and get their name out there. But I mean, I probably have 300 college coach contacts, and I'm not sure that even means anything anymore. So, but we're trying to sell our kids. We're taking Harry up to Coastal Carolina in February, and we're trying to shop our kids a little bit more and make them more attractive. But I think kids nowadays are starting to understand their parents. You got to put yourself around people that have good networks, that are going to work hard for you and put you in the best position possible, because the landscape is very different. So, and we're trying to figure it out a little bit better too. I don't know if it's better to go NAIA, D2, D3, and then, work up the ranks from there. I mean, but, and those are the things that we're shopping our kids. I told Harry the other day, I said, we might have to take your expectations down just a little, just to give you an opportunity to get into college. And so that's kind of what we're doing right now. But you got to have coaches out there that are knowledge like that, and we'll go shop and we'll go work for you. And a lot of these coaches around here, I'm not sure, I don't know that, and I can't speak for them, but I don't know if they're really shopping kids around like that. But I know we are. So
yeah. Well, and if you never had anybody recruited, like you don't really know how to.
You don't know how to do it.
Yeah. The game's changing all the time, so it's a lot. It's a lot on the kids. It's a lot on the coaches. It's a lot on the families. To just try to figure out what the best path forward is, and that's one of the things.
And honestly, that's why I'm
to put out in the open here is kind of have this conversation out loud and figure out what is the best path.
And that's why, honestly, I think prep schools are really, are popular right now. The kids can reclass and they can get another opportunity to do things and whatnot. And again, we don't know if that's the answer. I told Harry that might be the answer, and that's the reason he left last year. But then he came back, and thank goodness. But now we got to go a different route.
Bit about that, because there was a lot of, I'm sure there was a lot of chatter around the community and such. Anytime someone of that high profile makes an announcement like that, and in fact, it was there was a lot of talk about, is Coach Gabriel leaving? Is that why he's doing this? And you and I talked, and you made it very clear that was not the case. And in fact, you kind of encouraged him to go test those waters and see if that was going to be the best move for him. And then he decided on his own that coming back to Bluffton.
And I did. And that was, people told me I was crazy. And I'm like, how do you give up an all-state player? And I'm like, well, if he's, sometimes you got to surround yourself. My father-in-law always told me, if you want to be a millionaire, hang out with millionaires. If you want to be a ball player, if you want to be a high-level ball player, go hang out with high-level ball players. See what they're doing on a daily basis. And so Coach Ellis and I from Moravian are good friends. And, I've sent several other my kids from from Lincoln Charter when I was up there. They actually went up there as well. And, I reached out and said, hey, I got a kid. we all went up there, me, his dad, and Harry and his mom all went up there together as a crew and looked around, and they felt comfortable. We thought that was a good place for Harry. And, I told him, I said, if you're wanting to play at the highest level, here it is. And so he made that decision, but he also stayed a part of Bluffton as a student, online and all that stuff, which kind of gave him, I told him, I was like, you gotta keep a line that if you do want to come back, that it's an opportunity. So yeah, I encouraged him to go. People thought I was stupid, but I'm just here. Like I said, this is not about me. It's trying to help kids get in the right situation, putting them in the right position. And we thought we were doing the right thing, and we still do. I think he got better. I think he saw what what he needs to work on, what he needs to get better at, and now he's, I think Harry's probably playing the best. I thought the other night he probably played at a higher level than he has ever before, and that's just my opinion. But
that's what I was gonna say too, because I know me and Robert talking about like a player of the week thing, which I haven't given anybody all year because I ain't think anybody deserved it, and I hate doing this, especially with Harry, because I downplay all that, but I thought that was the best I've seen him play right now, man.
Yeah,
especially over his last 2 game stretch. I thought he controlled the whole game.
Well, I always
more in 5 straight.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say he scored 20 or more in 5 straight. He had 32.
It's not
5
just that,
rebounds,
though. Like
3 steals.
It's the pace of the game, though. It's like the leadership. It's the talking to his team and directing and things like that. That's the growth that I've seen as compared to like earlier in the season.
You're right. And I judge people when I watch kids play. I watch kids minus the scoring, because I tell Harry, I'm like, in college, a coach can get anybody to be a scorer. They can get you the ball. They can, do certain things. But I always judge kids on their aggressiveness and their ability to score points by getting to the line. And that was the one thing I always had a problem with Harry. I said, Harry, you don't shoot enough free throws. You're not, if I'm a college coach, I want to see my point guard. I want to see if you're the best player on the court, I want to see you shooting free throws. And he just, he would shoot 3 here, 4 here, 2 here, 5. But the last 2 games, he shot 33 free throws. And, that's the maturation, or that's the maturing part that I see in Harry, is he's starting to understand that, here's where I make a difference at. I make people pay for play. Like, every team that we're facing is picking them up full court, rightfully so. I would too. But he's making them pay for it. He's not turning the ball over. He's making them foul, which is becoming an issue for every team that we played, even the other night. And against Orangeburg Wilkinson, I'm not sure if y'all see them on tape. That's the best team we've played all year.
That's a very good team.
They're a very good team. And they kept fouling him. And ultimately it was to their demise. So, but Harry's really coming along. And so we did think that was the right point. But we also feel like that when they called me this summer, they had 2 or 3 other options when they was wanting to come back. And I said, well, Harry, you got to do what's right for you. I'm not going to beg you to come back on my team. Would we love to have you? Yes. But you got to make that choice. And he made a choice, and I think he's made a right choice. And I think he's maturing right in front of our eyes. I think he's taken this team to where we're at right now, because we're not deep and we're not as talented as we were last year. But I think we have the ability, with Harry leading driving the bus, so to speak. If he continues and stays healthy, I think he could lead us to wherever we want to go with it. So, and the kids on the team are buying in. They're buying into, what their role is. They're not trying, Zay, Isaiah Gadsden, he's such a tough kid that he's just bought into rebounding and playing tough defense. He got in foul trouble the other night, but he's not trying to force anything. And Malcolm's starting to come along and be more of a force on offense and rebounding the ball. And even Ethan, my biggest thing for Ethan was, Ethan, you're 6'2", 6'3", and you're a terrible rebounder. Colleges look at that. You can shoot, but you can't rebound. And so the other night he had 14 rebounds against Orangeburg. The other night he had, I think, 11. So he's starting to really take pride in that. And so I think kids are starting to understand their role. They're getting excited about how they make a difference in other areas other than shooting, or other than, putting the ball in the hole, which will come. So I think they're getting excited about that, and I think good things are going to come for us. I don't think we're where we're going to be. I think we're going to be a lot better if I don't get in the way too much. But I think we're going to be a lot better than what we are today. So,
all right, Harry, 38 of 44 from the stripe the last 3 games. By the way, that'll get it done. That's how you scored 32 points on 15 shots.
Right. Yeah, well, that's just how you make teams pay for being aggressive or making that. Yeah. So, but I can't tell teams how to play us. So I hope they keep doing that.
Right on, Coach. Well, you guys, there's no rest in this region, as you mentioned. It's pretty tough. Buford's definitely down, but Colleton's the kind of team that can get you on any given night. They have a great gym up there that gets loud when they're playing.
Great environment.
Yeah. So looking at this week, you got Hilton Head Prep down on the south end tomorrow night. Then Tuesday, you're at Colleton I think it's the best gym in the Low Country. I love that place.
Yeah.
And then Friday at home against Bishop England. So tough week ahead. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we I don't know. The coach from Hilton Head Prep and I spoke last week and tried to cancel this Monday game because he was coming off of, he had to play Friday, Saturday, and now he's got to play Monday, Tuesday, and whatnot. So we tried to move it, but the AD didn't. I think the television was already scheduled, and so that's why we're playing that. So I don't know the dumb coach that scheduled a Monday game in region play, but
that's what happens when we start getting ahead of ourselves and wanting to schedule these non-region games while we're waiting on a region schedule, right? I've got myself in a corner with something.
Yeah, sometimes you think you're doing the right thing, and then it, you're like, oh, why am I doing that? But Colleton is Colleton. They're athletic. I mean, they pose a lot of issues for a lot of teams, and then obviously Bishop is. We're not looking forward to anybody. I told our kids we're not good enough to look ahead. I never let I always let my kids and my teams think we're going to lose every game, just to kind of, bring their focus back in. And, you just never want to overlook anyone. So, so we're not overlooking Hilton Head Prep. We know we got a tough game with Colleton coming up, but I think our kids are ready. And I think, if we keep, doing what we're doing, just getting better each day and coming to practice focused and whatnot, I think we'll be okay.
Anything else for him, fellas?
Nope. Continued prosperity in the region and moving forward. And it's certainly fun watching Harry's maturation.
Yeah, it really is. I'm super proud of Harry and watching him play. And, I get a backseat pass to how he acts in the locker room, how he acts, when we go out to eat together and when we do things. I get to see that, and I'm seeing him mature. That maturation process for him has come a long way because Harry's like a lot of these kids in this area. Harry kind of is really quiet. I know he doesn't appear to be that, but he is quiet. He doesn't like to talk. I'm forcing him to talk in practices. I'm forcing him to pick teams. I mean, the other night, honestly, and I'll shut up after this because I like talking about Harry. I like talking about good kids.
Keep talking.
But we were in the huddle the other night, and I don't know who the kid was, but I had somebody going into the game with him, probably in a pivotal moment, thinking as a coach it was the right thing to do, and Harry went, heck no, get him out and put him in. And I went, that's your call, Harry. So, Harry would have never done that last year. And but for him to say that, and it wasn't a starter. I think he wanted a starter out and somebody else in because they were playing well. And I let it happen. And that's another thing is about us is like I don't try to control everything that happens. So but yeah, watching Harry mature has been fun. So
amen. Well, thanks, Coach. We appreciate it very much, and some great insight and wisdom tonight, I think, and advanced the conversation on a few things that we've already kind of hit on that are kind of things that obstacles to being the best that we can be in this area and trying to take it to another level and have 30 kids, going to the next level from this area.
Right.
That we don't have a school that has that kind of reputation or history with basketball. So we'd love to see that.
We're trying to put our kids in the best spot to do that, and that's ultimately why I'm here. And my goal is for kids that when they come to Bluffton, they know that they got a coach and they got people that's going to work hard for them to put them in the next level and speak for them and put them in the right spots and whatnot. So lucky to be here and happy to be here and look forward to being here for a while.
Yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you, and we'll talk to you down the road, and we'll definitely see you in the gym.
Thank you, guys. Y'all take care.
Right. Thanks, Coach. Coach Bradley Gabriel, Bluffton High School boys. That was outstanding, fellas. We've had some terrific interviews with coaches here the first few weeks of this endeavor.
Yeah, man, it's good to get some insights to some of the local programs, man. You can see why some are what they are and some are what they are not.
Kind of interesting, though. Different take in terms of style of play for sure. A guy is gonna, because that's uniquely boys ball, right? Where you got a hot hand, you got a lead man. You're gonna ride that hot hand. You're gonna, and kind of to that person to make sure that you're like Michael Jordan stuff, right? His worst shot's better than the other guy's best sometimes. I think that's an interesting take compared to some of the other stuff in the area, which is, and especially now because he's got an alpha in the backcourt, right?
Yeah.
So it's watch when you do have a really good kid to actually see them get showcased in a way that's for their.
Yeah, that's what
we're losing Robbie. He must have
But
jumped in the river.
Though, because you can see like the Charlotte in the way that they play. You can see the Kentucky in the way that Bennett and them play. And look, basketball, everybody got their own philosophies, man. I'm just a big proponent of just having a philosophy. That's all.
Amen. And sticking to it. Yeah. Like, and that's one of the good things about the transfer portal being what it is and trickling down to the high school level is that people can find the program that makes sense for the way they play the game. And that does help them showcase themselves better at the next level, because if you play a certain style of play, you're looking at programs that play a similar style of play, more than likely, where you're going to fit in, And so I just think it's for the best. If everybody has their established identity and reputation, then people can find their way to the place that best benefits them. And it should, in a perfect world, work itself out. But we got to have some guardrails.
Well, that's what you see with like the quote unquote the portal stuff right now, right? Like in the high school too, is that there's a lot of these parents out there who spend a lot of time and energy. And Justin, you and I have talked about it, just in terms of, sort of the culture of youth sports in general, whether it's travel basketball or travel softball or baseball or whatever, right? The parents have a lot of FOMO. They have a lot of say now, and and step up. And so it's a more difficult time to be a coach. So, for these guys, to, to take this on for, some stipends are better than other, I guess. But it has to be a labor of love, right? So I think what we've tried to do is get, 2 or 3 coaches who seem to try to be doing it the right way and show consistency. And like Fish just said, you can see some Kentucky out of May River. You can see some Charlotte, out of the way Bluffton plays, and that's all for the good. And and of course prep last year, right? Running all the Princeton stuff.
Yeah, Princeton on the south end.
Yeah, so all of that stuff, but then it gives the parents who are these, overbearing little creatures that, are doing everything they can to put their kids in the best position, myself included, right? Like you then have options in terms of styles of play, which makes sense because not every kid's the same and not every kid is showcased correctly, given the way they would be showcased in the given system, right? So like Princeton's not for everyone, right?
No. Fit matters.
You see it even worse on the girls' side. I think that the portal is more so needed because if you're a talented girl around here, high school ball isn't even worthwhile unless you just team up with all your other friends who are good, and you can create a schedule to where, okay, we go out and play good.
Yeah.
But what
And we
good
took
is it for? Because we obviously we deal with that 8th grade team.
Yeah.
We have a couple girls on their team who, okay, you go score 35
Yeah.
of your team's 38, but like that doesn't necessarily help you in the development of 5-on-5 basketball.
Right.
Just form a lot of bad
No.
habits. Your coach is afraid to say anything to you, so you're just forming a bunch of bad habits, and it's a lot of fool's gold, man.
Yeah.
At times.
A lot of fool's gold, and I mean, and that's you're totally right on the girls' side. There's a lot of heat in this area over that for years with the Hilton Head Christian thing, and of course, they were loaded for bear for 6-7 years, maybe even beyond that. And they won a tremendous amount. But here's the thing: it was the kids who are good and spend that much time and energy getting good, and their parents who are now in the gym with the other parents who are spending all this time, energy, and money getting good, want to be around people who have the same like-mindedness, who have the same commitment to that growth and development, and have prioritized that as part of their kids' upbringing. So now they're going to go team up and they're going to go do stuff, which is why historically privates have a huge advantage. I mean, if you look at like the top, there was a thing in Sports Illustrated, like the top 100 teams or top 50 teams in the last 50 years or something like that in high school boys basketball. And I think only one or two were publics. And one of those was the Dunbar team, the great Dunbar team back in the day from Baltimore. And then the other one was the Ball Brothers squad, right?
Mhm.
Out in but other than that, it's everyone ganging up. And like you said, like what is there to play?
Catholic schools in New York City and DC and everywhere else.
Well, I think that's the beauty of that new rule and being able to transfer, because now you're not handicapped to if
Right.
your private school is doing it right or not. You know what I
Right.
mean? Now you're able to. I mean, the kids want to play with each other. At the end of the day,
Well,
they see the Charleston, they see Columbia Market, they see what those teams look like, and they want to be able to go
yeah,
out and
that's right.
compete with those teams too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, look, parents of kids who play college ball, you're talking about 4% of kids in general. So a lot of those parents are going to be different as it is anyway.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you create a great program, your kids aren't going to want to leave.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's no reason to get upset as long as you're creating a great program, which honestly we kind of lack on the girls' side right now. I know we gave JP2 a lot of love last week.
We did. I mean,
They had a
what
stinker.
a oh, that might be the
Shannon.
worst loss they've taken on in years.
Yeah, a
2 years.
little egg on our face there. I think they'll bounce back. That was yeah.
But here's the
We'll write
thing
that
too, and then you got the cross girls who got smoked by Dorchester, and then I mean they played Andrew Jackson won by 8 in overtime to 3 and
Yeah, and I
12.
think
What?
3 and 12. Yeah, they won
And
by
it's
8 in
like,
overtime.
Hey, Doc put 97 on Holy Trinity.
I mean, my daughter
okay, but
probably
here's the
thinks
thing.
put 97 on Holy Trinity. Turns
97
But
12, bro.
okay, but here in lieu of giving Doc any credit at all, let's backtrack and go. Why is Holy Trinity fielding a team if Doc
I don't
Cross
know, bro.
boys can put up 97 on you? Like, what are we doing? Get them in the gym.
And the
They
girls,
care.
They're not even the
lost
varsity
57-2, right? The cross girls beat them 57-2.
I
Is that
hadn't
right?
seen that.
I didn't even see that.
I thought they might have folded the tents and not played that game because I didn't see a score.
No. That was the score. That was the score. So I don't.
I guess
But
you got
that's
to
our
start
area.
somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. So if I'm a girl, why am I wasting my time?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and the same thing. Like Prep went over and beat Battery Creek on Friday or on Saturday, right after losing to St. John Christian the night before. And these are just 8th graders for Prep running around, and now they've won 2 out of the last 4 games. So big credit to them. But like the fact of the matter is that it's Fish is right. Like in order to showcase girls in this area, they almost have to play together and then go put their backpacks on and go find competition. Because I mean,
now you gotta go out and find a
Mm-hmm.
coach. Now you gotta go out and find a coach who's willing to go do that, or a coach who
which
understands that.
is also why Marshview was going to be a huge breath of fresh air for the area. I mean, to be quite honest, whether people want to say so or not, and they brought it all wrong and they didn't follow through on one thing that they set out to do. But essentially, the guy who was going to be the principal of the school is currently Oceanside's principal, Lorenz. And I mean, and essentially, you know, and I mean, I can speak to it a little bit now because my daughter's in a similar what they call passion schools, right? Where they go for like 3 or 4 periods, block programming, so they still have time to train and put themselves in the best position. And I think in this area, traditionally, that's more of like Olympic sports, you know, golf, tennis, country club sports, equestrian. Honestly, the best soccer players the areas have ever seen have never played high school soccer here. They've all been in those schools as well. So like those are sort of the few that we don't have. One of them is a glaring omission. The fact that we don't have a multiplex or a facility where kids can be trained up, and we're literally bartering with Beaufort County School District who are trying to charge me for HVAC for kids in the summer to play basketball, man. $135 an hour or something like that.
Got to pay extra for the air.
Because here's the thing, the kids do in fact need air conditioning in the summer. as old school as
well, here's the thing. I know for a fact that air conditioning is running in there all summer. That air conditioning is running regardless. The fact that they're charging for it is outrageous.
I can tell you when Rochester used to run the Hilton Head stuff through Island Rec when he.
Bro, you would have mold growing all over your gym if you didn't run the HVAC in the summer.
He would not pay, and he would go crank it. I can tell you that happened on more than one occasion. So, like, I don't know, but the area's got to be interested.
Yes, and invested
to get better and invested in order for it to happen. You got a guy like, you know, Bradley talking earlier. And he's playing the right style, and he wants to showcase guys. He's got 300 coaches in his Rolodex. I went old school on you, but then, you know, and like, but what's the infrastructure now, which he brought up, right? Now, feeders, that's a confusing issue for me because are we not calling feeders?
Okay, so here's the problem.
Or they split up, but they're split up according to where they graduate.
So May River or River Ridge goes to May River, but it's a small school and has some like Montessori programs and things like that. But then Bluffton and McCracken Middle are both split. So some of the students go to May River and some go to Bluffton. And at least in the past, I don't know if they've lessened this at all, but there was enough animosity between Bluffton and May River and concerns about recruiting one way or the other that there was a policy that no middle school teams from Bluffton or McCracken could use facilities at either Bluffton or May River unless both coaches from both programs had signed off on it because they were worried about recruiting. And it's like, come on, man. Like, we all already know where we're going to school.
See, but this is what I'm saying when I talk about adults just getting in the way.
Yes, like, getting in the way.
Like, who cares? Who cares what this little 13-year-old kid?
I promise you it's not the coaches. It's somebody at a higher level than that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Those are the people I'm talking about.
Because with wrestling, like I coach wrestling at McCracken, right? We can walk from McCracken to Bluffton High School. They have a big old wrestling room in there. We do not have a wrestling room at McCracken. We have the cafeteria, which gets booked for performances and STEM nights and all kinds of stuff. And we would lose 8 to 10 practices a season to some kind of event being in the cafeteria that day or the next day or whatever. And including the breaks, right? Because, they got to mop the floors. They got to wax the floors. So you can't practice that week. And it's like, that's the middle of our season, bro. But we could have gone over to Bluffton and practiced, but we couldn't because not all of our kids were zoned for Bluffton. And it was like just absolutely ridiculous. And again, I don't know if that policy is still in place, but I know it was 2 years ago. And
well, I get it now. And that actually is I see what he's saying. Hey, though, you know what? You could
But
have
it
a
impacts
feeder
all
like Hilton
sports
Head
too.
High
I mean,
School
football programs, like,
and get
to
turned
not
in.
to not be able to teach your offense and your
Especially
defense at your
freshmen.
theater middle school is
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah, especially them
Yeah, it
freshmen
is.
coming
And
in
I
that
mean, like,
first summer.
Yeah, that's when he says we didn't know who we had.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, can't even reach
right.
out.
And I mean, they changed because I remember I talked to the Hardyville AD when he was still at May River, Mesa, and he was explaining some of some of the zoning to me, and he's like, Rob, some of these neighborhoods that they're dropping in up here next to May River, he's like, some of them are Bluffton. He's like, some of them are May
Right.
River.
Yeah. There's one, that
At May
first one when you
River,
come out of the traffic circle to go back toward May River, New River Forest or whatever it's called, right there
yeah,
on the right. The first one,
yeah,
that one's zone Bluffton.
That's
yeah,
Bluffton.
yep,
Yeah.
that's Bluffton. So there's
Well,
like there's legitimately, I mean, like that's the thing too. I
It's
mean,
crazy.
down here, man, if you look at down here, I live down here in Moss Creek area, and we are still zoned in Moss Creek for Hilton Head, which is
Hilton Head.
crazy because we're not on the island.
Moss
And
Creek
then
fought hard to be considered Hilton Head for
they
many years ago.
many years ago. But what's funny is every time now that there's sort of every time that the board goes to, or the rezoning, you know, starts to happen or whatever, Moss Creek's now, I don't even know that they don't really know um, that the property values would vastly be affected by the change. So like we go across the street, right? Like Old Carolina and all that. They're actually May River, not Bluffton, and not Hilton Head. Yeah. So
Make
like,
it make
so like,
sense.
or not Old Carolina, whatever it is, right across the street, like right down the road. So I mean, essentially everything across from Moss Creek over there goes. It's a weird thing that they've got going on. I mean, obviously we're expanding at some rate that doesn't really make sense. It's one of the larger expansion rates in the entire southeast over the last 2 or 3 years,
There's
and
going to have to be
continues.
another high school in at some point.
And there is, I mean, now if you look at the Hardyville thing, and again, we mentioned the Marshview thing, that would have been, I mean, obviously, I mean, I don't know how great it would have been necessarily for Hardyville High School or Ridgeland or anything
Right.
like the area at large for certain athletes that would like to have, um, would like to school in a way that makes sense for them to actually go after a high school career, a college career at a higher level would make some sense. I mean, right now we have Heritage on the island, but
Yeah.
that you can go there and so like if you're a May River
Yeah.
district kid, you'd be at May River.
Well, and you can do the homeschool thing now too. More and more kids are doing the homeschool thing or the online school, and you can play for your own school. Which is an option that we didn't really have or consider not that long ago.
No, and
So
that's right. If you look at it, there's kids all over the county that have done that for years, and have had success. The May River girls, their kids at home, their leading scorer is a homeschool kid.
yeah,
The football player of the year in whatever Hilton Head High School,
yeah,
Thaddeus
turn up-
Zarnecki. He goes to Heritage. He doesn't go to Hilton Head High School.
yeah,
So it's one of those things where I we're catching up as an area in terms of
yeah,
the kind of schooling to offer, the kind of programming, and like but for us, we really, and what he said, the feeder thing also got me, going, whether it's rec or all, we just need to start getting younger. But like if you look at what's going on with rec right now, today, guys, are the rowdiest gyms in the area by far.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
by far. They're loud. They have people removed from them all the time.
All the
Now I
time.
know why. Now I know why Bluffton has like Gaza level security to get into it. I mean, it is absolutely impossible to get into Buckwalter.
They got like wanted
right?
posters out front. Don't let this man in here.
yeah, like it's a whole thing, facial recognition on the way through. But what's funny about it is they kind of need it sometimes, like for the rec game, but just for the little kids rec games, nothing else.
Yeah. No, it goes. Those people go wild, man. I mean, you see them on the internet all the time, acting a fool.
Yeah, man, a whole thing. But anyway, I was a good guest to have on. It's definitely interesting to hear someone who's puts kids' ability first and doesn't cater to the lowest common denominator. You know what I'm saying? Like, understands who's in the gym, so they're the kids who are getting the ball. Like you see those memes online, right? Like basketball is not an equal sport. Like people who put in the reps are the ones who get the shots. They're the ones who get the minutes, and that's why they're seeing the success they see right now, and why May River's seeing the success they do, because they share the heck out of the ball, and they've got a bunch of equal parts, right?
Yep.
And
they've trained them to do the things they do and do them well. All right, well, let's wrap it up, boys, with some shout outs, some teams, some players, some coaches.
Game of the week, Fish. Give me your game of the week.
Oh yeah, my game of the week, definitely that Battery Creek Oceanside game, man.
Heck yeah.
4 OT thriller. Not sure how we end up with a 13-point differential.
Right.
Got a 30 piece from Michael Williams. Also concerning and kind of, you beat Prep by 5 the next day. So I'm not quite sure what Oceanside is. I mean, Oceanside's 4-10, but they've had a quality schedule. I know they beat Battery Creek by 30 twice last year. So, I mean, shout out to them, man. Game of the week, it was a big win for them, big win for CJ.
Dude.
But
yeah, for sure.
I take a little win hangover to only beat Prep by 5 the next day. So
yeah, I think so too. But I mean, that's kind of to be expected, right? A little bit of a letdown.
Big emotional win. It was probably a big emotional win.
Orangeburg.
So I'm going to give
Oceanside not ranked though, surprisingly, in the most recent
4-10, bro.
Yeah,
4-11.
Orangeburg Wilkinson is ranked, and that's the one looming. But it looks like Creek might be at worst the second best team in that region, which is saying something.
I'm giving you my game of the week, Manny. Girls. Shout out to Coach R, Coach Russ, I don't know his name, down at Hilton Head High School.
Oh, yeah.
They pulled off the backyard, the Beltway. No, not the Beltway. That'd be like DC.
The 278 tussle. The 278 tussle.
Yeah. No, it's the Bridge Bowl. It's the Bridge, whatever, right? Yeah. 278 tussle.
They got rowdy in there, man.
35-33.
They got rowdy.
Yeah, so you want to give a shout out to. I'm going to give a shout out to our kid Ellis, who has been sort of leading by example down there. 8th grader, leading scorer for Hilton Head High School. They've had it kind of rough. They don't have a tremendous amount to work with. Not a lot of basketball first kid, although Ellis and her sister Addie are doing pretty good work down there, and I think you're seeing some other kids contribute. But that was a good win for them. Tough loss for the other CJ in Bluffton. But they're going to get their get back. I
will say those are two young programs. I know CJ got a young program.
Really young.
I know she's out there. Yeah. I took a peek at.
Well, CJ had a freshman scored 12 in that game. Talia Alcedor.
Yeah. She got a couple young freshmen over there. She seems to be doing the right things over there. But that's what I'm saying. That's what we talked about before. Like, you got a young program. It's kind of like starting over. Like, I took a peek at their practice. They were doing ball handling drills. Like, that's what they need. You know what I mean? So
fundamentals.
He's laying a foundation over there for sure too. But yeah, definitely a good game.
And Bailey Gilmore. Not Bailey Gilmore. Bailey Gibson. She's a freshman. I think she's their leading scorer. So for Bluffton. So stuff coming together there, But yeah, shout out to Hilton Head for getting a W there. And Prep again too for beating Battery Creek. So now they got 2 wins in the last week, which I was pretty sure they weren't. Hey, they're 1 win up on HHCA now.
Hey, they got a battle coming up soon, man.
Yeah, they do.
They do, man. They do.
Yes, they do.
You got Bluffton Prep tomorrow, girls, which will be
should be a blowout.
I mean, we really hold on. I don't know. Hard to say on the
game of the week. Let me give Hardyville some love, boys. 74-32 over Allendale, so they're 3-0 in region. Just got Denmark left. 1A 1A is crazy, bro.
That's good, man. 3-0 in region. You can't beat that. That's a great thing.
We're like
for the
5-12
Hurricanes.
overall, but we played May River twice. We played some pretty decent squads and let some get away. Played Bridges 3 times, beat them once. We should be able to beat them more than once, I think, if we want to be a good team. But Bridges is getting better over the course of the year.
They're young over there too, right?
They're young.
Well,
They gave Wellbrand
getting,
a heck of a fight the other night.
and in a year like this, where everyone's young and one thing I noticed on the girls' side, which kind of plays over, is that like everyone's like, not everyone, but there's this huge grouping of squads that are like 6-8 to 8-6.
Yeah.
Right now, and if you watch them individually, you wouldn't know how they have 8 wins or 6 wins, and then you realize it's because they're all bumping each other, right?
Right.
But that's sort of the nature of the region right now. So hey, whether you're 5-12 or whatever, you got 3 in region right now, 3-0.
Yeah,
So,
man.
Go Hardyville.
Yeah, I mean, we played. We ain't played world beaters, but we played May River twice. Played Savannah Christian, Woodville Tompkins, and Whale Branch, and all those guys. HHCA got them in the tournament. So we played bad on the break, but there's something about region games that our guys definitely get up for those. I think they know the kids at the other schools, and they have beefs from other sports with those guys. They want to prove something, all that kind of stuff. So players of the week, I mean, obviously Harry was just phenomenal this week, and can't say enough about him. We said a lot about him tonight, though, so we probably
too much, man, too much.
Probably haven't said enough about him. We're not trying to gas him up, but certainly he's a good example of one who has really dedicated himself to the craft and come as far as he can go as far as he can push himself, and that's what we're trying to see more kids just do that. Just be the best you can be, and let's figure out the rest later.
And to that end, I guess I don't have necessarily an individual game per player of the week, but I did see that Miss Jania Hayward at Beaufort High is top 10 in the state in scoring.
I believe it
right now. Yeah, so Nia's always kind of been like that.
She's getting better too, man. Her game's maturing a little bit out there.
Yeah, it is, and Nia's one of those kids. It's like she is the master of ebb and flowing to her competition, right? In the current situation at Beaufort, she gets a lot of cheap stuff. She Hutchinson stuff where you're just getting like right-handed layups off of kids who don't play basketball off the press, right? So it's fine. But here's the thing: Nia does things correctly. Like her shot's nice. She's not broken. She's incredibly athletic. And she's a gamer. She when the lights come on, Nia comes on.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So that's always been the thing with Nia. There was for years we had Nia almost exclusively, and there was like years where people really didn't actually know who she was because they just never really saw her. A lot of these kids, like Fish said it earlier, he was talking about the kid who scored on the little H2 2030 team who scores like 28 of her 32 points in middle school, 8th grade kid. And these kids who are talented like that, and speaking to Nia, they like literally are sleepwalking through it.
Yeah.
They're literally honestly, it looked like the Fish. Did you see the Peterson kid for Kansas the other night score 32 and looked like he wasn't even.
Talk about no reason to play college basketball, bro.
Dude, that was insane. It was insane. Did you see this, Justin? He pulls himself with 2 minutes to go in the game, man.
Oh yeah, I did against TCU.
No, he's done that a lot.
Yeah, he's on minutes restriction.
Yeah,
he's on minutes restriction.
Got 30. No.
And then they just got a camera trained on him at the end of the bench. Like, you think he's gonna come back in?
Sitting away from everybody.
He's like 19 and he gets Kawhi treatment.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna go sit out. And then he goes back in, and then they immediately ISO the kid. They foul him from 3, and he hits all 3 free throws, and they go to overtime. You're like, what just happened here? Like this. But anyway, Nia's a little like that, like where the lights come on, and you're like, whoa, that's a whole different level than you would actually see if she's just bumping regular kids around here.
Yeah.
So that's another thing she's going to have to consistently figure out a way, and maybe, look at some of the stuff that just to go see what's out there, and maybe
Keep her
we'll see.
interested.
But yeah, I mean, doing what, and she'll amass some points and she'll get some looks, but yeah, and she'll get. I mean, she's always going to. But it's going to be one of those things where she's going to have to consistently show it against, higher level competition. And she really does when she's put in that scenario. I mean, like, I'm not kidding. Like, it gets to be. Fish saw one this past summer that,
Oh man,
she ended up.
she pretty much won us the game. I think Amira was hurt. I think PJ was hurt. And
PJ played like 2/3 of the game, and she played it all left-handed because she had her right hand was all busted up. So she played all left-handed, and it was essentially it was Nia went crazy. Myra didn't play at all.
mm-hmm.
Bro, yeah, and someone else.
But the football game has ended, and it's still on Fox in my house, and they got a bunch of people in plastic bags, and they've sucked all the air out. These are human beings. This is some kind of a competition. It's very dystopian. And
is
it's
it
just
Mr. Beef thing, or is it Fear Factor?
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
I don't know. It looks like a Fear Factor type thing, but these people
that's
are
Johnny Knoxville right there.
Oh, these are celebrities that are stuck in shrink wrap?
Okay. Yeah, you got to tune in NBC, man.
That is NBC. What in the world is going on? So, poorly played basketball isn't the worst thing happening in the world. I guess that's what I take.
I mean, look, it was at least fun this week because
entertainment.
It was at least fun this week, like in the sense where there was, a 4 overtime game. I mean, watching JP2 get just not even show up, that was wild. And then you saw it was really wild. Like, I didn't see that coming.
I think they get him again in like 2 weeks. So
that'll be interesting to see if they flip that around.
Well, I mean, and then you like see St. Andrews goes and immediately loses to, who did they lose to? That's atrocious. Like 2 days later. I can't remember. But yeah, it was. So it's all just starting to be like, it's all starting to be where everyone's getting in the middle of the season where there's just weird upsets and people getting one-off victories here and there. So at least this week was fun and entertaining in that way.
St. Andrews and maybe around and lost to Woodville Tompkins.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like that's a crazy loss. That's a crazy loss.
Strange things.
So yeah, I mean, so I think
Charlotte Moore has chimed in from Instagram and said cross OT versus Andrew Jackson. That should have never went to OT.
Hey, props to Charlotte Moore.
Shout out Charlotte Moore, 7th grader, running the show.
And demanding better. I love it.
Yeah, no, Charlotte has come a tremendously long way. And
I will say
the OG 1L kids.
She's one of the more skilled 7th years.
Got access to the huddle. It was one of the most disgusting games I watched out of that group. And having coached that group before, I know they're missing. Obviously, PJ's a big loss. They lose Jen, but more so than anything else, man, they just lost the competitive edge, man.
Yeah,
and it's sad to watch that group be where they are.
And I mean that's a testament to your highest. You can only be as competitive and committed as your most competitive and committed kid. You know, I mean that's why you want to have great players in your program because they elevate everybody around them by setting the bar high.
But they still have.
Yeah, and I mean that's what they do this year for sure. I mean,
next year and years to come, it looks kind of bleak. But for right now,
bleak. I mean,
they should still be running people.
It's diminishing.
I mean, you got Lex, who saw. You got Ryan. You got both Maldonados. Sydney Hollins is like.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, they should be rolling, man. I mean, look, Charlotte is what? Like, she, generally speaking, is their 6th man or 7th man, something like that. Started some. The thing is she's incredibly solid. Like, so far, she's a 7th grader. She doesn't make a ton of mistakes. She's smart with the ball. She boxes out. She goes for 50-50 stuff. She handles it till she knows that it's not time to handle it, and then she gets rid of it, right? Like, this is a solid young player, but there's nothing to surround her with there moving forward. Now she's on a team with a bunch of kids who really don't. I mean, they're no longer into it, you know, and that's sad for the area because they're still one of the most talented squads.
All right. Well, anything else, fellas? Or are we gonna wind this thing down tonight?
Well, yeah, let's wind it.
All right, let's wind it. So, looking ahead to this week, you guys got big games you're looking at this week. By the way, USCB men went 2-0 this week. Women went 1-1. They had a tough loss against Columbus State yesterday. Good team, but the men, the Aussie point guard, that's my bucket of the week. Evan Kilminster, game-winning shots Wednesday and Saturday, big time.
I like that kid, man. He's a gamer. He's a good
Matter
player.
of fact, I think I have the video here.
I saw the one on Wednesday. They play
You saw
home
that
this
one?
week? Saturday, they're at home Saturday.
Yeah, they were on the road Saturday.
Talking about this upcoming week.
Oh yeah, they are on the road Wednesday and home Saturday. I think. Does that sound right? I do have this game winner though. I think it was Baptist. Oh, there we go. There he is from the corner. I'll run it back for you.
Yeah, it's a tough shot, man.
1 second on the clock, falling away in the corner, nails it.
Nice,
big time.
How do you give that up, man?
Yeah, right. And I guess he called his own number. He said, "Run this play for me, coach." I got it.
Tremendous.
Nailed it. And then he hit the winner against Columbus State as well. So Sandtrack men have turned things around big time. Women are still right there near the top of the conference. They're looking solid. So,
two interesting teams to watch, bro.
What's that?
I got one thing to say.
Two interesting teams to watch.
Yeah, no doubt.
What do you got? If you're gonna hire a videographer, pay your videographer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We did see that special, didn't we?
Hey,
you're not getting them clips just because you didn't play them.
I'm tired of seeing the photos on the bench, man, or the non-athlete photos, and
yeah, and like that's so crazy. I mean, that's so crazy.
Yeah. Well, here's one of my shoes trying warm-ups, and here's one of me sitting on the bench.
Yeah, like dapping up my homie in warm-up.
He's like, if you hire me to do him, this is one of like, isn't this a guy you're good with, right?
Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He's like, hey, fellas, it's not my fault if I come to a game, shoot you, and you do nothing at all.
If you hire me to shoot the game and you don't produce, that's not my fault.
Yeah.
But now we got some good ones. Hilton Head River. Hilton Head River.
I'll be at the Hilton Head May River on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
If there's any videographers there, take some pictures of fish.
There you go.
Oh no, please
don't. Because that's what you do online, man. That's what they do online. They go like, hey,
I post my videos. I post my kids I work out. I just post all the good comments I get from parents, and yeah, man, that's me.
Goose Creek at Buford on Thursday. Goose Creek at Buford on Thursday, boys. That's interesting. That's a legit.
Any videographers there, roll up.
Hey man, last thing I'll say. Let's get Keita Smith the ball, man.
All right.
Like I came out, hit 2 threes in the first 2 minutes of the game. I think he had 10 at halftime on like 3 shots. Probably ended up taking a total of maybe 8 shots, and nobody out there can guard him. We gotta do better, man. He ended up like 16 or so. Like,
man, yeah, you gotta get. If he's getting 16 on 8 shots, we gotta get him more shots.
Get my ball, get my man the ball, man.
Yeah, man. All right, boys, good stuff. We'll do it again next Sunday, 7:00. We'll line up a great guest for you again and talk about what's going on in the Lowco hoop scene. In the meantime, we'll keep you posted on what's going on night to night on the Lowco Sports Lowdown. Haven't figured out the exact schedule for this week, but we'll at least have 2 or 3 episodes this week and get you caught up on what's been happening. So look for us there. Lowco Grind coming at you at 9 for the wrestling fans. If there's anyone who's a big enough hoops fan to watch this and a big enough wrestling fan to watch the Lowco Grind, I'll give them a lot of credit, but probably not a lot of crossover audience. But we'll have a lot of wrestling news coming up at 9 o'clock, and then Lowco Sports Lowdown most likely coming at you tomorrow night. Monday is usually one of our regular nights, so we'll see you there. Stay tuned to the Lowco Media Network so you catch everything going on in the Lowco sports scene. But for Rob Benson and Coach Fisher and Bradley Gabriel, great interview tonight from Bluffton High School. We appreciate you hanging out on a Sunday night for the One Lowco Hoops Happy Hour, and we'll see you next time. Until then, go Lowco.